Is it better in the warmth or in the cold? It's not what you think. It's for muscle soreness. Is there a clear winner or best option? We've all felt it. DOMS. Where range of motion is shorter, your muscles ache, lower strength, all very normal reactions when we aren't used to a certain stimulus. However, not many studies are published between cold versus heat therapy for improving DOMS. There has been studies on them individually, but the results and evidence is controversial. Some science shows either a no effect or a good effect, for example, of cold therapy on muscle soreness. Heat fares no better. For example, hydrocollators are commonly used for heat therapy. However, they are usually wrapped in 6 to 8 towels with an average time of 20 minutes, reducing the heat ability to penetrate into deep tissue. Even more of an issue with people having higher levels of subcutaneous fat, that won't penetrate at all in 20 minutes. According to Petrovsky et al. In the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research in 2015, they showed that both have a positive impact in reducing muscle damage after exercise. But let's look at the study. In this study, they used 5 groups. A control group that with no usage of heat or cold, 2 heat groups, heat immediately and the other 24 hours after exercise, and the same for cold. All participants were new to the experimental exercise squats. This is a good example because the likelihood of them having a higher level of DOMS is very likely. 100 participants between the ages of 20 and 30. To induce DOMS, they performed squats for 5 minutes. To ascension of a 110-degree angle in the hip and 1 squat every 3 seconds. 3 minutes of rest and then performed 2 more times. Cold therapy used thermocare wraps either immediately after or 24 hours after exercise for 20 minutes. While the heat therapy group used thermocare heat wraps for either immediately after or 24 hours after exercise for 8 hours. The results are in. First, reduction in strength. The control group saw a 23.8 reduction in strength on the day after exercise, whereas the cold and heat immediate group saw a significant reduction of 4.5%, also showing that these groups had significantly more strength than the control group as well. However, the heat immediate group recovered by the second day after exercise to the pre-exercise strength level, whereas the cold immediate still showed a significant loss in strength at 3 days after. Between the 24-hour cold and heat group, both groups showed better recovery over the control group at days 2 and 3, but the heat group took the slowest recovery time. According to the researchers, there were no statistical differences between the 2 groups. However, when you look at the graph, it surely does, in my opinion. The p-value was only 0.40, which is high, so something to take note of. Onto the visual pain scale. All groups increased in pain and peaked by day 2 after exercise. Least amount of pain was shown in both heat and cold immediate groups, but no statistical difference between the 24-hour groups. In terms of fastest recovery, the cold immediate group was superior. The results show that to preserve muscle strength after strenuous exercise, heat immediately applied after exercise was best. In addition, using heat immediately after exercise seemed to result in the least damage to muscle. If heat and cold are not applied until 24 hours later, the reverse is true. Cold is better than heat in preserving strength and reducing tissue damage. For reducing pain, cold immediately after exercise or 24 hours later was superior to heat in reducing pain, although both did reduce pain. In conclusion, both cold and heat therapy improved overall recovery of DOMS better than the control group. Athletes, the elderly people, and people with diabetes may respond differently.